one death of ego saves you from 1,000 deaths of suffering. When you operate under ego, you are living in dependence. And dependence means every fluctuation of the world becomes a knife. You wake up, you look at your phone, no message from the person you wanted to hear from. Death 1. You scroll and see someone ahead of you. They have more, they look happier. Death 2. You apply for a job and wait for the reply. Anxiety chews at you hour after hour. Death 3, 4, 5. Someone praises you, you feel alive for a moment, but you know the price will fade. And when it does, you feel hollow. Death 6. You win and then you fear losing what you won. Death 7. Every craving unmet is a death. Every craving met but then taken away is a death. Every fear, every comparison, every judgment, another death. This is how you die 1,000 times. You are bled slowly by 1,000 tiny cuts. Each whisper from the mind is another incision. Each attachment is another wound. The suffering is endless because ego feeds on this cycle. It will not let you rest. Even in moments of happiness, it will plant the seed of fear. Even in moments of victory, it will whisper that it is not enough. And so, under ego, your life is not life. It is a theater mixed with torment. You are never free, never still, never whole. You are always chasing, always bleeding, always waiting for the next wound. The man of clarity faces the same world, but he does not hand it the knife. He does not die each time the wind changes. He is untouched because he is not dependent. He is silent because he is not bargaining. That is why I tell you, better to burn the ego once in the fire of truth than to die 1,000 deaths in the theater of the world. Likewise, chasing feelings is the most expensive game you will ever play because the cost is your life paid in 1,000 tiny installments. Let me show you. You chase the feeling of security, you land the job, you feel relief. The next day, fear whispers, what if you lose it? Death 1. You chase the feeling of respect, someone praises you, you glow. Later, someone ignores you, you ache. Death 2. You chase the feeling of being loud. You get a message, you are alive. The next day, no message, you are empty. Death 3. You chase the feeling of success. You hit a milestone, you celebrate. Then you compare with someone further ahead, you shrink. Death 4. You chase the feeling of certainty, you make a plan, you feel in control. Life changes the plan, you are restless. Death 5. You chase the feeling of freedom, you buy something expensive, you feel powerful, a bill arrives, you are anxious. Death 6. You chase the feeling of importance. People listen to you once, you feel significant. Later they don't pay attention. You feel invisible. Death 7. And this continues all day, every day. Every craving gives you a high, and every crash takes a piece of your soul. This is why you die 1,000 times. Not because the world is cruel, but because you have tied your life to the rise and fall of feelings, to the moods of strangers, to the randomness of events, to the fickleness of fortune. When you stop chasing, when you begin to see clearly, you still work, you still move, but you are no longer a beggar for feelings. You are no longer a hostage of praise, of fear, of love, of comparison. You no longer die each time the wind shifts. This is the silence I speak of. This is the untouchable state. The 1,000 deaths end not when the world behaves, but when you stop letting it hold your soul for ransom. The world is the same for everyone. Opportunities come and go, people praise, people criticize, money flows in and out, fortune rises and falls. The man of ego hands the world the knife by tying his worth to its movements. When the world smiles, he smiles. When the world frowns, he collapses. He has outsourced his peace. He is at the mercy of every breeze. That is why he dies 1,000 deaths, because the world changes 1,000 times. The man of clarity lives in the same world, but he does not bargain with it. He does not say, I will be happy if you give me this. He does not say, I will be bold if you crown me king. He does not say, I will suffer if you spit on me. He does not enter the transaction at all. Therefore, the world cannot wound him. Its knife passed through him like smoke. This is why clarity is freedom. This is why silence is unshakable. When I say better to burn the ego once in the fire of truth than to die 1,000 deaths in the theater of the world, I mean this. Burning the ego once is seeing clearly that you cannot rely on the world for peace. It is the shattering of the illusion that getting there will save you. This burning is painful because you are watching your old dreams, your old chase, your old identity dissolve. But once it is burned, you are free. You act from stillness. You work without bargaining. You live without begging. Dying 1,000 deaths is the alternative. It is continuing to live for applause, for validation, for recognition, for love. It is allowing every whisper, every insult, every comparison to cut you again and again until your entire life is consumed by anxiety, craving, and fear. One fire once, or 1,000 small fires every day of your life. That is the choice. This is why I tell you the man of clarity does not escape the world, he escapes dependence on it. And that single escape ends a lifetime of torment. Burning the ego is not about killing it with force. It is about seeing it so completely that its tricks lose their power. See that trap clearly. The ego is a beggar. It lives on what the world gives it: praise, recognition, applause, fear, comparison. It tells you if you get there, you will finally be whole. If you achieve this, you will finally rest. But notice, it has never delivered on its promise, not once. Each time you reached a goal, the hunger returned. Each time you won, the whisper started again. This is not accident, this is the design of ego. When you see this pattern without flinching, the chase starts losing its shine. This is the first step toward burning it. Stop negotiating with the world. The man of ego is always bargaining. I will give my peace, my time, my soul if you give me approval, success, love. He is a constant trader, and every trade leaves him emptier. The man of clarity does not bargain, he does what must be done, but he does not hand over his peace as a collateral. He works, but he does not wait for the world's applause to feel whole. This is not indifference, this is independence. Face the pain once, not 1,000 times. Burning the ego is painful because you are watching your false self dissolve. The self that was built on chasing, on comparison, on being somebody, you will feel lost, even hollow, when you first stop running. But the pain is a single fire, it purifies you, it burns away the illusion that salvation lies in getting there. And when the fire passes, you are lighter, you are free. Live in silence. Silence is not muteness, it is the absence of inner bargaining. When you work, you work. When you rest, you rest. You do not make each act a transaction for validation. You begin to move for truth, not for applause. You begin to speak only when it is necessary, not to be seen. You begin to build because the building is right, not because the crowd is watching. Stay rooted in what is real. The man of clarity faces the same storms, but he is rooted in the ground of reality. He does not hand the storm the knife. He lets the wind blow and continue walking. This is what I meant when I said the man of clarity does not escape the world. He escapes the dependence on it. He still lives, he still acts, he still creates. But his sense of worth is no longer a puppet on the strings of external events. So, to burn the ego, you stop running, you face the emptiness, you allow the illusions to collapse, you stay with the truth that nothing outside can make you whole, and you begin to live from silence. The man of clarity is not hiding from the world. He is not running away to a cave. He is not rejecting money, love, work, ambition, creation. He is rejecting slavery. Slavery to applause, slavery to fear, slavery to what will they think of me, slavery to when I get there, then I will be whole. He walks through the same streets as the man of ego. He builds companies, he writes books, he falls in love, he earns, he loses. But his soul is not up for sale. His peace is not a chip on the table. The man of ego is a hostage. He wakes up and checks if the world approves of him. If it does, he breathes. If it doesn't, he dies a little. The man of clarity wakes up and does what is true, regardless of who claps or who spits, because he is not bargaining with the world for his aliveness. This is what I mean by escaping dependence. The dependence was the torment, not the world, not the job, not the people. You cannot stop the world from changing, but you can stop tying your life to its every mood. And when you do, the torment ends. Not because life becomes easier, but because you are no longer chained to its ups and downs. This is the escape worth making, not because from society, but escape from the prison of needing it to complete you. And that single escape is enough to turn a life of anxiety into a life of silence. I will tell you something rare. I will tell you the trap. The man goes to the market. He sees 10,000 glittering things. He says, I must have this. At that very moment, he hands the world the knife. He has become a beggar. He has become owned. Likewise, Socrates was taken to a market and it was full of luxuries and fine items. He said, there are so many things that I do not want. That is freedom, that is power, that is self contained. That is a person who has found himself and needs nothing outside of himself. But here is the catch: Socrates did not merely resist. He did not play a heroic game of willpower. He did not accept in the spiritual sense. He saw through the game entirely. He saw that if he wanted it, he would spend his life bleeding, trying to get it, then fearing he would lose it. This is why chasing a girl, a promotion, a throne is not a problem because you might fail. It is a problem because even if you succeed, you will die 1,000 times. Every look she gives you, every day she is distant, every time someone else notices her, another death. Every time the company praises you, you soar. Every time they ignore you, you crash, another death, and another, and another. Clarity is not acceptance as a discipline. Clarity is seeing so deeply that you cannot play the game anymore. The game becomes absurd. Wanting becomes absurd. Not because it is bad, but because you have seen the full price tag. You have seen that the price is 1,000 tiny suicides. And you have seen that the alternative, burning the ego once, is a bargain beyond imagination. So, yes, burn yourself in the fire once. Be free of the market, the girl, the throne, the glittering baubles. Do what is to be done, but never again from the seat of dependence. Never again hand the world the knife. When I say one death of ego saves you from 1,000 deaths of suffering, I mean this. The ego dies in installments. Every day it is insulted. Every day it is ignored. Every day it is left out, compared, rejected, outshined. Each event is a small death, a humiliation, a sting, a tearing apart of the self image. And so the man who lives by ego is a man who dies every single day. He dies when she does not text back. He dies when someone else is priced. He dies when the market crashes. He dies when the mirror shows a wrinkle. This is what I mean by 1,000 deaths. Death after death, cut after cut. The man bleeds his life away. But if you burn the ego once, if you stop bargaining with the world, stop depending on its applause, stop measuring yourself by its scale, then you are done. You die once. You feel the searing pain once. You let the illusion go once. And after that, you can walk through this world untouchable. It can praise you, it can spit on you, you remain whole. That is the bargain. That is why one death is infinitely cheaper than 1,000. Here is the great trap of money. It is not that money is bad, it is that the mind that chases it is doomed. Look closely. You do not simply make money, you become possessed by money. The very moment you decide, I must have it, you have given money permission to hold you hostage. From that day forward, you are no longer free. You will die the first death when your salary is smaller than you wanted. You will die the second death when your friend makes more than you. You will die the third death when the market crashes. The fourth death when a client says no. The fifth death when the man you secretly envy buys the car you wanted. And so it goes. 1,000 deaths, 1,000 anxieties, 1,000 moments of feeling small. You will wake up in the middle of the night calculating numbers in your head. You will feel envy when you scroll. You will feel fear when the bank balance dips. You will feel pride when it grows, only to fear you will lose it again. This is what I mean by dying 1,000 times. Your life becomes a prison of numbers. But if you burn the ego once, if you see that money is not your master, if you refuse to hand it the knife, then you can still earn money, you can still build wealth, but you will not bleed for it. Money will become a tool in your pocket instead of a chain around your neck. You will use it, but you will not die for it. That single escape is worth more than all the riches of the earth because it buys you the only thing money cannot, your peace. And here is the status trap. Status is the most expensive game of all because status does not simply cost money, it costs your life. The moment you decide, I must look good in their eyes, you have signed a contract of slavery. You will die the first death when your cousin buys a bigger house. You will die the second death when they praise someone else's child. You will die the third death when a relative makes a joke at your expense. You will die the fourth death when someone earns more than you. The fifth death when they do not include you in the photo. Each whisper, each look, each comparison, another death. This is the endless torment of status. Because status is never achieved, it is rented, and the rent is due every day. Even if you win, you must keep winning tomorrow. Because the throne is made of smoke, it disappears the moment someone rises higher. This is why the man of clarity burns this game entirely. He lets them talk, he lets them compare, he lets them gossip, but he does not hand them the knife. He is free not because he beat them, but because he no longer plays. This is the highest status of all, to no longer care about status, to walk into the gathering, to listen to the chatter, and to smile because you have escaped the theater entirely.